All right, so there's other big news. There's other big news. If you guys didn't hear about this one, I'm here to tell you about it. There's an old killer that goes by the name of the Zodiac Killer. All right, which was a pseudonym. This is straight off Wikipedia. I like to call them the Ministry of Truth because everything can be edited and redacted in real time. By quote anonymous editors or whatever happens to be. Right. So anyway, the Ministry of Truth, Wikipedia says this about the Zodiac Killer. And there's some news regarding this, so hang tight for just a sec. So Zodiac Killer is a pseudonym for an American serial killer who operated in Northern California from at least the late 1960s to the early 1970s. His identity remains unknown. The killer originated the name in a series of taunting letters and cards sent to the San Francisco Bay Area press. These letters included 4 cryptograms, or ciphers. The Zodiac murdered 5 known victims in Benicia, Vallejo, Napa County, and San Francisco, respectively, between December 1968 and October 1969. He targeted young couples, with 2 of the men surviving attempted murder. He also murdered a male cab driver. The Zodiac himself once claimed to have murdered 37 victims. The San Francisco Police Department marked the case inactive in April 2004, but reopened it at some point prior to March 2007. The case also remains open in the city of Vallejo, as well as Napa County and Solano County. And, so the California DOJ has maintained an open case file on Zodiac murder since 1969. All right, this is old news, right? Because 60s and 70s in California and blah, blah, blah. Nope. The Cipher. Check this out. This is reported by CNN. And among others, we're going to look at some other articles where they talk about this stuff, which is pretty wild that after all this time, this stuff's starting to get cracked. After 51 years, the Zodiac Killer's Cipher has been solved by amateur code breakers. Okay, here we go. Straight from CNN, the most trusted source of news. More than 50 years after the so-called Zodiac Killer first began terrorizing the streets of Northern California, a code-breaking team is believed to have finally cracked one of the killer's mysterious coded messages sent to the San Francisco Chronicle in 1969. Dubbed the 340 cipher, the message was unraveled by a trio of codebreakers: David Oranchak, a software developer in Virginia, Jarl van Eyck, a Belgian computer programmer, and Sam Blake, an Australian mathematician. Decoding the cipher revealed the following message. It was sent in all capital letters without punctuation and included the misspelling of paradise. Now check this out. This is a little bit horrifying. This is actually what the cipher looked like. If you guys haven't seen it, it's a little bit very, very serial killerish, right? Like you look at this thing, and it kind of gives you the creeps just looking at it, because it kind of evokes that guttural emotion of, oh shit, this looks satanic. This looks dark and dangerous. What is this? So they've been trying to crack this thing for what was that? 60 years, 50, more than 50 years. All right. Now that's what it looks like. Again, I'll link all this stuff in the show notes for this. But yeah, pretty nuts. Here's what it said. All right, here's what it actually said that when they finally cracked it. So, okay, straight from these individuals that cracked it, the cipher said this: "I hope you are having lots of fun in trying to catch me. That wasn't me on the TV show, which brings up a point about me. I am not afraid of the gas chamber, because it will send me to paradise all the sooner. Because I now have enough slaves to work for me, where everyone else has nothing when they reach paradise, so they are afraid of death. I am not afraid, because I know that my new life will be an easy one in paradise, death." Now, interestingly, this is one of those guys that they probably started the serial killer profiling of people, right? And that this guy in particular was very much like the Hollywood. They make movies based on this guy, because he was literally killing people, taunting police, sending them letters in the form of these ciphers, these coded messages, and calling them on some occasions, and he was just raising hell all over the place, and they didn't know what to make of this, right? And oddly enough, right? So when I first read this, I thought, wait a minute. So this guy was so brilliant to have this code that he set it all up, and it was, it baffled people forever, over 50 years now. But you read this, and he's not the best writer, right? That's my first thought. He misspelled paradise. It's Paradice. That's how he actually spelled this, but paradise is with an S. And then the more I think about it, though, I've been thinking about this for the last 24 hours on and off. The dude must have been incredibly brilliant, because I'll bet you he did that shit on purpose, right? He put it out there because he knew that the way cartographers or code breakers, or not cartographers, map guys, what are they called? I don't know what they're called. Code breakers. Anyway, there's a word for it that I'm not catching up here. But yeah, I mean, he knew that they're based on algorithms, or at the time, old World War II cracking machines and things like this. They didn't have supercomputers to kind of feed the information through. So it seems that he intentionally misspelled this word, didn't he? Like, pretty crazy stuff. One more time, though. I hope you are having lots of fun trying to catch me. That wasn't me on the TV show, which brings up a point about me. I'm not afraid of the gas chamber because it will send me to paradise all the sooner, because I now have enough slaves to work for me, where everyone else has nothing when they reach paradise, so they're afraid of death. I'm not afraid because I know that my new life will be an easy one, in paradise, death. So, well, again, while not a good writer, brilliant and sick, the Zodiac, they cracked the cipher. This cipher known as the 340 cipher, and three amateurs, right? It's eluded the FBI and the CIA and everybody else all these years, and three guys out there put it through the number crunching of a computer, and they came up with one term that made them go, wait a minute. And that term that kind of turned them onto this was the gas chamber. I'm not afraid of the gas chamber line. And they were like, wait a minute. And so they cracked it. So here we go. Quote, it was incredible. It was a big shock. I never really thought we'd find anything because I had grown so used to failure, Oranchak, who's been working on solving the killer's messages since 2006, told CNN. When I first started, I used to get excited when I would see some words come through. They were like false positives, phantoms. I had grown used to that. It was a long shot. We didn't even really know if there was a message, he said. The trio took their findings to the FBI a week ago, but didn't reveal their breakthrough until the FBI's confirmed cleared by the authorities, they said. So we don't have the entire cipher message here. That's just a piece of it. And so clearly the FBI is going to do their thing, and they're going to do whatever they do and, hide information so that they don't end up looking like a bunch of clowns because, well, that's what they do, right? They got it first things first. They don't really have to worry about identifying the killer because at this point he's probably long dead, whoever he is, right? But so that's number one. But the first thing for them wouldn't even be catching it, just in my opinion. So if you think my opinion's wrong, there's no problem there. You can give me a call and we can talk about it. One more time, 702-957-1037, watching the phone lines. Let me put the number back up. But yeah, so of course they would be most concerned with, again, in my opinion, how bad it makes them look, right? So, is this an ongoing investigation? Yeah, I guess. but does that really qualify as one of those things where they're like, nah, we're not going to give you information about this because well, details, whatever dirty details. Yeah, pretty crazy stuff. There's a lot of good information here on some of these articles given this, but I guess we're waiting for the entire cipher to be released, and what that looks like is anybody's guess at this point, but you can kind of tell this guy was a sick dude. He was not just a few steps ahead of the cops and everybody else. This dude was way ahead of everybody. So I think this is a little bit terrifying that humanity has this in him, in the heart of mankind. Yeah, but pretty good stuff. So there was the original sketch. If you guys hadn't seen it, what they thought the Zodiac Killer looked like, and this is from one of his survivors. So they actually were able to describe the suspect back then. So anyway, This is dated from October 18th, 1969, the wanted poster from the San Francisco Police Department. Pretty good stuff, right? Or pretty sick stuff, or pretty whatever as it happens to be. Yeah, I thought it was fascinating. So we'll keep an eye on this. Like always, this is kind of a running narrative on these news stories, and as they develop, it's interesting when you watch the news cycle pretty close that these things happen. They come and go, and sometimes some other additional information comes out that doesn't get any kind of press, right? It gets released, it gets a bunch of clicks, it's the hype that goes behind it, and then after that, they like something comes out that maybe like makes it less sensational, and they bury it. So let's see what happens with this. We'll keep an eye on this, among other things, and all the rest of this, the psilocybin and the DMT and everything else, and see how this stuff starts to work. But pretty good stuff. I was pretty excited to see this news, and nice to get it included in the news show here. So there we go.